Peugeot's 107 is the UK's best-selling low-emissions car, and in recent times has been improved to look cleaner and run greener. Otherwise, it's still a safe and secure city runabout that offers a surprising amount of space for the tight budget it sells to. Available in both 3 and 5-door body styles with an up-and-atom 1-litre petrol engine, the 107 is right on the money. When Peugeot, Citroen and Toyota announced that they would be working together to create a class-leading city car, the Peugeot model's role in the whole thing wasn't immediately clear. The Toyota Aygo we expected would be the upmarket one, the Citroen C1 we surmised would be the cheap one, but the Peugeot 107, where exactly would that fit into the sales spectrum? As it turned out, from its launch in 2005, this would be the best-selling one. Simple badge equity got customers into dealerships, and once there, tight pricing from sales staff converted initial interest into firm orders. In the eyes of the buying public, the 107 was neither too cheap or too dear, but in the words of Goldilocks, just right. Even a package of even greener credentials and a subtle redesign with this chromed front face early in 2009 kept things current. Get in, turn the key, and the 998cc 3-cylinder petrol motor, that's the only engine option, sounds pleasingly characterful. It only puts out 68 brake horsepower, but you can access that power from way down in the rev range, about 3,600 RPM. And that, and the fact that this car weighs only around 800 kilograms, makes it actually feel quite zippy around town, despite an apparently unpromising 14.2 seconds 0 to 60 sprint figure. This car really is in its element around town, thanks to the high driving position, the light steering and its tiny dimensions. Visibility is improved by all these oversized windows, and it's very easy to park in city tight spots thanks to the short bonnet and the stumpy rear. Potholes and speed humps, they're generally taken in your stride, and although there's a bit of body roll and sharp cornering, the ride never gets too rough over sharp undulations. True, the steering and the gear change could be sharper, but pushing on, there is something to reward the enthusiastic driver. Now, city cars used to be pretty nasty things to have to spend more than short journeys in, but these days things are changing, at least in this case. In this brighter 107 interior, you've got decent elbow room, you've got up and down adjustment on the steering wheel, although you can't adjust it for reach, and there's enough fore and aft adjustment on the seat here for even the most portly people, although those in the back will of course suffer with long-legged drivers. Now, seated at the back, it's not too bad for adults on short journeys, as long as you're not sat behind a rugby player, and it'll be fine for kids. You do only get these pop-out rear windows rather than pop-up wind-up, wind-down ones, but we're nitpicking really, because when you consider the size of the design, it's only 3.63 metres long or 1.63 metres wide. It really is astonishing just how much space the designers have crammed into this tiny city car. It's all thanks to this wheel at each corner design. Now at the back, the luggage space is accessible via this opening rear glass door, and you can have 139 litres with all the seats in place. Not too much, but you can extend it by flipping forward the split folding rear seats and get 751 litres. One thing to bear in mind is that because it's an opening glass hatch rather than a proper hatchback, you have to lift heavier items over this higher bumper level. If you're someone who likes a bit of a bargain, then Peugeot's 107 might well appeal. Prices lie in the £7,500 to £9,000 bracket, and that means it slots in just below the starting point for Peugeot's larger 207 range. Now, obvious rivals, apart from the design-sharing Citroen C1 and Toyota Aygo models, include cars like Vauxhall's Agila and Suzuki Splash. Though if you're prepared to widen your search to include 3-door only city cars, you can also include models like Ford's Ka, Renault's Twingo and Fiat's 500 in your deliberations. Though there's only the one petrol engine, the 1-litre 3-cylinder unit, You do, as I said, get the choice of 3 or 5 doors, and there are also some pretty funky trim options. Now, standard equipment runs to power steering, twin front airbags, a CD stereo with MP3 compatibility, ABS and CSC cornering control. We'd avoid the Toyota-sourced two-tronic automated manual gearbox option. Running a Peugeot 107 is about as financially painless as new car motoring gets. This car, it's a very economical 1 litre 3-cylinder petrol motor. It returns 62.7 miles to the gallon on the combined cycle in its current form. And that means that you get about a 2% improvement over the original versions of this design. And 55 miles to the gallon should be achievable in normal motoring. Now, CO2 is improved as well, down to 106 grams per kilometre on post-2008 versions of this car. And that means that the model holds its very attractive Band B tax rating. Depreciation, well, the figures continue to look reasonable, with models getting the optional air conditioning. It's an extra 500 quid. They seem to be well received on the used market. Insurance groups are almost comically low. All 107s are rated at Group 1E, that's the lowest possible. If you're shopping for a city car, then you can't ignore this design, whichever of the 3 badges it wears. Why should you buy it in Peugeot 107, guys? Well, it'll probably come down to cost, specification and the proximity of your local dealer, all factors that will leave Peugeot confident of snatching your cheque. New arrivals might apparently offer more personality, but don't dismiss a 107 on those grounds until you've tried one. The 3-cylinder engine isn't only green and mean, it also has a personality, a character all of its own, and the funky styling looks good with the right colour choices and the addition of a few well-chosen extras. This is a bestseller on merit. Don't expect that to change anytime soon.